Steps to graphing equations. Step 1. Are you ready? It's only 3 steps. Copy this down. So this is the title, Steps to Graphing Equations. Go ahead and write step 1, 2, and 3 right here. Just like you see. These 3 steps with those 3 sentences. Don't worry about the top 2 sentences here. Steps to graphing equations. Here we go. Right there. Steps to graphing equations is the title. I'm good at this? Okay. Step 1. Go to write construct the table of values for step 1. Step 2. Graph enough solutions to recognize a pattern. Step 3. Connect the points with a line or a curve. For our class, before October 5th, which is next Friday, before this class ends, we're not going to be dealing with curves. That's for Math 2. But we are going to be dealing with lines, right, Mr. Rocha? So right now, phone's away. You want that second stamp, that is. We've got 7 days left. You got to maximize your stamps to maximize your credit. So we're dealing with curves when you're in Math 2. Right now, you guys are Math 1 students only. When you get to Math 2, we'll get into curves. But for today, all we're going to be dealing with is lines. So just a little FYI. So go and write down those 3 steps right now. Construct table values, step 1. Step 2, graphing out the solutions to recognize a pattern. And step 3, connect the points with a line or a curve. I'm going to demonstrate these 3 steps to you with 2 examples, and we're done with our notes. Very quick. Nothing crazy. So everyone's on their graph paper writing this stuff down here. So step 1 is table of values, x and y. What values of x should we pick? Well, here's the good news. You're going to pick any x values you want. But you want to pick x values that make life easy for yourself. Pick like a negative and a couple of positives. It could be whatever you want. No? Look at the easy ones I like. You don't have to pick mine, but it's up to you. I like -1, I like 0, and I like 1. It could be any x values you want. Just pick 3. Okay? That's step 1. Step 2 now. Look at step 1, we're done. We constructed table values. Step 2, I'm going to replace these x values. I'm going to put them into the equation for x right there. And I'm going to figure out what my y values are. There's going to be 3 y values here. I'm going to fill in those y blanks by replacing x with those x values. Watch me. Step 2 now. So you're writing step 2 on your notes. Y equals -2 times, look at x. The first x value I chose that I made up was -1 plus 3. Does add Sally tell us to multiply first or add first here? Help. Please, M stands for multiply. Yeah, so we're going to multiply -2 times -1 is +2 plus 3. So look at y becomes 5. Look at, there's our first value. Y is 5. Pretty easy. So right now you're taking all your notes on the graph paper I gave you, because we're about to graph this, which is step 3 right now. We're going to graph it shortly. But we're not done with the table of values yet. Let me now go back to the equation. Watch this now. I'm now going to replace x with 0. Okay. Aunt Sally says to multiply before you add. So -2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 3. So y is 3. Wow, this is easy. 0, 3. Okay. And last but not least, I'm going to replace x with 1. So y equals negative 2 times a positive 1 is a negative 2 plus a 3. What? Thank you. Becomes 1. 1, 1. We're done with step 2. We graphed enough, we're going to graph enough solutions to recognize a pattern. Here's our solutions now. Negative 1, 5, 0, 3, 1, 1. Let's graph those puppies now. On your graph paper, go to make an x and y axis. Make an x and y axis. You don't have to put all the numbers there because I know where the numbers are at. You know where the numbers are at. It's totally unnecessary. Just go up to about 7 all the way around. X and y axis. And we're going to plot these puppies. There we go. First one's 1, 5. Or negative 1, 5, I should say. Negative 1, 5. Negative 1, positive 5. We practiced plotting points on Monday, remember? We made the star. The second point is 0, 3. So 0 on x. Remember, I start at the origin. 0 on x, but up 3. Cool. And then 1, 1. 1, 1. There's the 3 points I just created. What does step 3 say? Let's see. Connect the points with a line or a curve. Well, this is a line. I'm going to connect the points with a line. I put arrows at both ends because it goes on infinitely forever. There's our first line of 2018. You know they lost yesterday. That's what I said. They got 4 games left, and we got to clinch it. We're only up half a game. Question on example 1. We're going to do one more example and we're done. Let me review. Step 1, right here in green, table values. Step 2, I plugged in those x values into the equation right here and got my y values. These are my y values. Step 3, I plotted those points and drew a line to them. Done. Step 3. Yeah, it was only the 9th inning. You saw that? Last example. Example 2. Only 2 examples today. Let's graph now. Watch this. Y equals negative x minus 3. Last example. Negative x minus 3. You're the man, Rocha. You're the man. I can see you taking diligent notes. It's wonderful. Step 1. Table values, step 1. There we go. You get to pick any x values you want. You want to pick your favorite number, knock yourself out. You want to pick some fractions, knock yourself out. My suggestion is make life easy for yourself. I like a negative 1, a 0, and a 1. That kind of gets the job done. There's step 1. Step 2. What should I do with those x values, Rocha? Huh? What should I do, Rocha? Good job, Rocha. If you were taking notes, you would know. What does step 2 say, Mr. Rojas? Pattern. So I need some solutions. I got to find the y values here, which means I'm going to write my equation. Y equals negative x minus 3. Wherever I see x, I'll be replacing it with my numbers now. Little word of caution. Negative x really means what? What's in front of the x here? Negative what though? What number? There's a negative 1 there. So it's a word of caution. Negative x really means negative 1 times x. So I'll be replacing x in numbers, and I have to multiply that puppy by negative 1. First one's in line is a negative. Look at x is negative 1. So y then, here we go, first one in line, means negative 1 times x. X is a negative 1. So I got really a negative 1 times a negative 1 there. Minus a 3. Let's see what y becomes. Y is negative times a negative. Thank you. Oh, positive 1. Remember, even if you're productive the whole period, if you have your phone out while I have the floor, you're liable to lose your stamp. Just FYI. 1 minus 3, what does that become? Nice. Negative 1, negative 2. There's our first ordered pair. Next x value in line. Y is negative 1 times 0 minus 3. Negative 1 times 0, anything times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3, that's 0 plus negative 3, that's a negative 3. Sweet. There's our second order pair. We're rocking and rolling. And last but definitely not least is 1. Negative 1 times 1 minus 3. Y is going to equal all that garbage. And Sally says to multiply first. Negative 1 times 1 is a negative 1 minus a 3. Negative 1 minus 3, negative 4. There's our ordered pairs. That's step 2, ladies and gents. Questions so far? Good. You can graph this one on the same coordinate plane if you want, or just make another coordinate plane. I'm going to graph mine on the same one here. Watch me graph it now. Negative 1, negative 2. Boom. 0, negative 3. Boom, right there. 1, negative 4. Boom. Draw a line to those puppies. Arrows at both ends because it goes on infinitely. And there's our second line of 2018.